I'll come to you, House Leader. Tomorrow is the D-Day, and Nigerians are heading out to the polls. As a Nigerian, what are your antecedents or what are your expectations?
Well, first, we expect that Nigerians would, of course, keep to the timetable of INEC. Over the years, the tradition we've seen for most Nigerians is a lot of them tend to turn out late for the electoral exercise. But we know INEC has inundated us with the timetable for this election, starting 8 a.m. and, of course, voting closes by 2:30 p.m. So on that premise, I would expect people to head out to their respective polling units on time so they could cast their votes. INEC had explained the reasons why they give that number of hours for people to come out and vote, depending on the number of registrants at a particular polling unit. Although I personally still have concerns because we know sometime last week, INEC announced that it had actually created new polling units and equally shut down a couple of others. Most of those were in the southeastern part of the country. And we know it did raise questions and speculations as to the rationale behind INEC closing some polling units, especially in the southeastern part of the country, where you and I know the population there compared to what you have perhaps in the southwest or the south-south or even the north, cannot be compared. So most persons have said this were efforts to disenfranchise a good number of voters in a region where we know one of the prominent political candidates or presidential candidates actually hails from. But that's mere speculations, of course, but we cannot throw everything under the carpet. So first off, we hope Nigerians would head out on time, cast their votes, and most importantly, stay back. The advice is 300 meters away from the polling units to ascertain the veracity of the numbers of the votes that have been, cast at that particular unit, and the eventual announcements that will come when that vote is uploaded on INEC's server. So if you do that, you would have completed your exercise in your franchise at the end of election day. As for who's going to win, well, we can only make projections based on what we've seen in the lead up to the polls. We cannot on our own begin to speculate which way each of the results would turn until after the elections. And some of the questions they've received in the past few days, will announcements be made on Saturday or on Sunday? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if a formal announcement or declaration of the winner, especially for the presidential election, comes as late as Tuesday. But I think by Monday we should begin to have a clarification as to where the votes will go. And something important we need to mention as well. The Nigerian election is somewhat modeled after what we see in the US or most advanced democracies who practice a presidential system of government. So even if, for instance, let's say Party A has 80 million votes and Party B has, say, 70 million votes, Party C with 30, and the last and not the least coming up with smaller numbers as such. It doesn't mean the party with the highest number of votes or the candidate with the highest number of votes would automatically be declared the winner. You have to pull some numbers in terms of the gap between you and your respective opponents across the different geopolitical zones in the country, meaning a particular candidate is required to score some amount of votes in each of the regions enough to be declared the winner. So let's say you win 3 out of 6 geopolitical zones, and that number is matched by another candidate, then there's a chance for a rerun. And if we had listened to some of the election observer missions who came into Nigeria, the foreign ones that is, they had said they had made preparations to stick around not just for the elections tomorrow, but in the event that there's a likely rerun. So there's a good chance we might have a rerun if a candidate who pulls the highest number of votes at the end of tomorrow's election doesn't get the required number from across the different geopolitical zones in the country. That's one important thing to note. So people don't start crying foul that, oh, my candidate pulled the highest number of votes, why wasn't he declared winner? I think these are the things we need to inundate people about going into tomorrow's polls.
Well, it's already all in the open space, and the media houses all across Nigeria doing their part to ensure that Nigerians are well enlightened and educated about the electoral processes. And enough cannot be actually said, but I'd like to get to hear from you this morning, and the number is 0902-223-1011 or 0817-624-8730. 8565. Join the conversation and tell us what you feel about tomorrow's National Assembly and presidential elections, the level of preparedness, and if you're willing to shun selling your vote to elect a credible, competent Nigerian leaders. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary.
Good morning. Good morning, my sister. And my name is Nakote. Like, is my first caller.
All right, welcome. I'm not a sister, I'm a brother. Go ahead.
Okay. Please, I want to say for this tomorrow election. Well, now, what me I want to say is, I say I don't think the federal government is don't even already been tell us, they will go attack our vote. That nothing will happen to us. Me, I believe, but me, I see those people who want to come do bad thing for the place. Please, let the revolt who want to go back to vote like this. Make we know between the run and the don't need the attack people who want to go back to vote. Now, what do I want to talk to you because of I don't think it's now. When you know some people speaking about money, so even go to the village, go to the transport from there to go catch the vote. They don't even see some money. Many people won't see the money, but will go catch the vote. Maybe they don't get issue about the insecurity. No security today in that. And now one federal government something. Maybe they know allow police, maybe they shoot anyhow for there. Because now we go here, the police shoot some people die. We don't want to hear that country for this 2023 election, please. Now, what do I want to talk for my own? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for joining us. Appreciate you joining us this morning. Election is here, and we just have to do the needful, and it's very important that you express yourself, and also very much appeal to you to shun selling your vote, because if you do sell your vote, or when you do sell your vote, you're not just selling your vote alone, you're also selling the rights and privileges of all Nigerians. Hello, good morning, welcome to the plenary.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, the House Leader.
Good morning, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, my generation. This enemy of all of us is forever. The will of God will be. I think the day has come by the grace of God, whether the devil likes it or not, only the will of God must be done because he owns everything. He owns all of us. Some people may try to premeditate what they intend to do. But there will be surprises, and especially even in the governorship. Good, but the presidential election is up tomorrow. But get notes, only the will of God must be done. Up till now, the name of anybody, I don't know if God has mentioned anybody to anybody. But only the will of God must be done. Get note of this. So no need scrambling or trying to do one thing, say one thing, or commit one crime or the other. You don't need to do that. The will of God must be done. Do what you think right. Do what is right. God created us in His image to do what is right. When you do what is right, the will of God must be done. This afternoon, one of us, JMC, forever. God bless you all. I wish you well.
God bless you too. We all wish you well, and wish all Nigerians well, particularly as we head out to the polls. If you just joined us, this is the People's Parliament, coming to you live on Planet 101.1 FM, Uyo. And just before we take our first recess, shortly to bring you the news on the hour of 9, I'll take a quick run at some of the comments that we have on our Facebook page, and House Leader is going to help us do justice to some of these comments. House Leader, over to you.
Yes, let's head to the Facebook page. Don't forget, you can reach us on Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo. And let's get in a few of the comments that we have so far. Hopemore Jr. says, tomorrow's election will be an election for a total change in Nigeria. I urge the youths to vote for the youth. Vote for the future, not peanuts. We need vibrant leaders, not recycling old folks. I encourage the armed forces to provide adequate security throughout the country, and God will change our story by giving us credible leaders. Aniekan Edem says, good morning, parliamentarians. I plead with the good people of Nigeria not to vote for money in this particular election because the suffering is too much for the citizens. No evidence, or dividends rather, of democracy at all. Let's vote this time for a future purpose. Okay, it's texting us from Guadalupe. Thank you very much. Victor Mbre says, good morning, Planet FM. Nigerian voters should vote for someone they can earn over their business to handle, and someone they can permit to go help their wife, sister, mother, etc. Let's hope your help it's in line anyway. And this was coming from Samuel Iwook. Good morning, Mr. Speaker and the House Leader. INEC's 87 million PVC collected. Okay, Lagos leads with 6.2 million. For me, this is impressive. Tomorrow is going to be a deciding moment for the future of Nigeria, and it is not it's not time rather for people to make mistakes in choosing their candidate. It is not time to be deceived and bought with peanuts and tokens that can't even sustain us for 3 days. We've had enough suffering, deprivation, rejection, and marginalization. All we need to consider is choosing leaders with awesome antecedents, track records, and personality, and not voting on the basis of sentiment, bigotry, and financial inducement. The PVC is your power. Vote wisely. And lastly, fearless reporter say, good morning, Mr. Speaker. My attention has been drawn to the abandonment of the popular, let's say, Karamama Road to local government area. Okay, that's not a part of what we're discussing anyway, but thanks for drawing our attention to it. And he equally says, okay, we might have to skip this one because it doesn't relate to any of the motions on the floor of the House. As we always advise, do all to treat the matters arising first before you subsequently inundate us with other concerns. We have more of your reactions, of course, when we come back from the news break. Please stay with us.
Good morning and welcome to the news update at 9. The news, President Muhammadu Buhari unveils committee to coordinate activities of computer security centers in ICT industry during 2023 elections. Nigeria Immigration Service ordered closure of country's borders throughout Saturday for presidential and National Assembly elections. Back here, Akwa State Governor announces suspension of monthly statewide sanitation due to Saturday's polls. On the foreign scene, South Africa records first cholera death in 10 years. And in sports, Manchester United beats Barcelona to reach Europa League last 16. That's it on the news update at 9.
So welcome aboard, fly anywhere in the world. Catch every glimpse of the clear blue skies. Take a seat up from far and soar on the wings of action. Fly, eagle bird, let's get you there. Get up-to-date information and insight on topics in and around the aviation industry and stand a chance to win exclusive gifts on this 30 minutes program every Thursday from 4 p.m. on Touchdown Thursday with Ibom Air here on Planet 101.1 FM Uyo. This program is proudly powered by Ibom Air, a new experience. Fly Ibom Air.
The People's Parliament is brought to you courtesy of JIA Outdoor Services. JIA Outdoor Services, a member of the Mbarukas Group, owns and manages billboards and advertising services in and outside Akwa Ibom State. Why not visit them today or call this number 0803-741-2340. JIA Outdoor Services, a member of the Mbarukas Group.
Amapiano and Afrobeats, they dine together. The two giants, Niger and Southeastern show. Plenty drama, romance, cameras 247. Come see where Yawa the gas Yawa.
Make on cash all the excitement on Top Go TV Jolly, Max, and Super on Channel 29. Reconnect today on my Go TV app or dial star 288 hash. Big Brother Titans now for people who don't reach or pass 18 years old. Our headline sponsors now Bamboo, Flutterwave, and Lotto Star.
Anytime I see injection, fear they catch me. But this time, it did not stop me.
I've been nurse where they take care of sick people for hospital. Making up my mind was very simple. I asked my doctor for the right direction. She told me I couldn't make a better decision.
I did work out well, and I did chop better food. But that one no mean say, no fit to you. Everyone looks up to me as the leader of my community. I took the COVID-19 vaccine with excitement.
I took the vaccine to protect myself and those way they are around me. I must be alive to take care of my family. I have taken my 3 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine.
I did it for love. Protect yourself, family, friends, and community from COVID-19. Get vaccinated sharply.
Do it for love.
Do it for love.
Do it for love.
Mikuri Bumme, Minyamurua, Etansu 102.7 FM, Kururu Tangikom, Iquiquitabe Quiquiba, Itune, Itaita, Iquiquipu, Head Usoke, Adede, Iquiquitabe Quiquiba, Itune Itaita, Iquipu, Head Usoke, Tansu 102.7 FM, Ekene Tang.
Welcome back. Here's service, and it did speak to them about ensuring that Nigerians can head out to the polls and cast their votes and return safely as well. And we've had assurances from the IGP, the Chief of Defense Staff, the head of the Nigerian Air Force, the immigration as well, as equally said, the borders have been shut in the lead up to tomorrow's exercise. So all of these are geared towards ensuring the safety of Nigerians throughout the election and the voting period. So there are no concerns about postponing the polls, as many have insinuated, even in the face of the Naira redesign policy, which occasioned the scarcity of the new notes and the old ones that have been allowed to keep on running as legal tender. There were concerns that logistical problems for INEC and perhaps inability of Nigerians to access cash could equally lead to postponement of the polls. All of that has been laid to rest, as INEC have said. The elections will go ahead as planned. And on Tuesday, they had met with the CBN, and confirmation, of course, from INEC is that they've gotten the polls allocation from the central bank. As a matter of fact, all the states across the country have started accessing their polls allocation from the respective CBN offices in the state. So there are no concerns for INEC. They have to deliver on the mandate put to them by President Buhari to ensure free, fair, and credible polls. If you've got reactions to make on this, feel free to do so. Studio lines remain unchanged: 0902-2231-011 or 0817-6248-565. We're equally getting your reactions on issues bordering on vote selling, vote trading, as it is known. That's because whoever is giving you money, to vote for them, is guilty or culpable in the menace of votes buying or votes trading. And you, at the receiving end, you're equally guilty as well. But there's been some funny debate about people collecting money from politicians or political parties and deciding to vote for their respective consciences, whether that is the right step or not. Some people say, well, it's our Commonwealth, it's our money, we can get it, it doesn't matter if we vote for them or not. We'll come back to that point. Let's welcome more of your reactions. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Welcome to the floor of plenary.
This Joe calling from you.
All right, welcome, Joe. Please go ahead. Mr. Speaker is right here. You can say hello if you want.
Good morning to you, parliamentarian. Welcome.
Should be.
Thank you very much as well for joining us on the floor of plenary this morning. We appreciate your reaction. Keep your calls coming in, and equally go to the Facebook page, Planet Radio 101.1 FM, and leave us a message. We'd love to read from you in the course of the program. So everyone does agree that yes, votes buying could likely hamper the successes that we are expecting at the end of this election. But I did ask a short while ago, we hope it's not just a hoax. You know, people can call in and say, yes, don't sell your votes. I'm not going to sell my votes. But when push comes to shove, especially in the face of the biting hardship that most Nigerians have felt in the past few weeks, owing to the scarcity of the notes, some persons could be tempted, you know, to forget the promises that they make to themselves and to Nigerian people as well by eventually selling their votes. So that will be a huge cause of concern. But we hope this is not the case eventually. And just before I took that reaction, I raised the point about the fact that some persons have said it's okay to collect money, but decide at the end of the day not to vote for whoever is giving you that money. How easy is that? I feel it's easier said than done. But I'd just like to clarify, for the benefit of those who don't know, the fact that you've accepted to take that money for me equally makes you culpable in the menace that is worth buying. Because trust me, someone else could see you getting that money, but doesn't know that you will likely vote for your conscience. Let's say Party A comes and start distributing money to you, you take it and say you're going to vote for Party B. Someone else who has seen you take that money will likely think that you are voting for the party who is actually giving you that cash. So you see, your actions can equally rub off on another person. But let's hope this is not the case as we lead up to tomorrow's election. And not just tomorrow's election, of course, March 11 becomes as well, when the governorship and state houses of assembly posts would come your way. Let's head back to the phone lines and get to welcome more of your reactions. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, the House Leader. Good morning, everybody. You see, taking money to vote and giving money to vote is all crime. The two of them are committing a crime against humanity and against God. To say, I take money, I vote with my conscience. Means your conscience is already dirty. You take money from another person and go and vote for another person. What do you think you are doing? You are a sinner. So please, we got to do what is right every time we see ourselves. Because the life we have doesn't belong to us, it belongs to God. And we give account to all our stewardship. Well, my concern is the soul of Akwa Basibom area, which the present governor had to bring in Dakara into the governance. But many of us don't understand. We are cheating on ourselves. God wants us to lead the whole nation, not just the nation, but the world. The moment we don't do what is right, then we fail. In our parlance, we say, if somebody, you see, we got to be very careful because I pity the governor because all that he has come to do, he started very well, but along the line, many of those supporting him are not even doing the right thing. That is the soul of Akwa, the soul of the world. The moment we truly we take over everything. But it's not so. So I wish whoever will come in to take over the reign of the state should take note of this fact. We got to do what is right and truly Dakada to claim all that belong to us. This came in Ubonga DMC.
All right, thank you very much indeed for joining us. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Planet.
Yes, welcome to the Parliament. What's your name and where are you joining us from?
I am Umasco. I want to say, as we march tomorrow to the poll to elect the president, I implore of all Nigerians to be law-abiding, peaceful, so that we can have a good election. I would ask people to vote their conscience, irrespective of political affiliation, ethnicity, religion, or any other nuances. But I will still have to implore that as a southern Nigerian, which I am, you be for the interest of peace, mutual cohesion, and unity of this country, if the presidency return to the South. Remember the amalgamation of 1914. The essence was for all of us, the North and South, to stay together. So since President Buhari have stayed 8 years, it would have been the turn of the South to produce a president, so that we cannot afford what the concomitant effect of having another northerners as the president. It will be a kind of bad and extension of the unity of this country. Remember what happened in Yugoslavia under President Shisho, where all the different nationalities went their different ways. When the majority Muslims in the north dominated the southern minority and fled across the country. It took a bloody civil war for the southern Sudan to escape from Sudan. I will implore northern Nigerians or all Nigerians to give peace a chance by voting in a president from the south. We have two credible presidents from the south. We can choose from any of them so that peace and mutual coexistence will exist in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Matthew Ekeke is my name.
All right, thank you very much indeed for joining us with your reaction, appealing for our brothers in the northern parts of the country to see reason to equally allow someone from southern extraction to have a shot at the presidency, with President Buhari's time, of course, going to be called quits come May 29 this year. It's raised the argument, of course, about the essence of amalgamation, as he put it, in 1914, which brought southern and northern Nigeria together. As much as over time we've said the issue of zoning is alien to the constitution of the country as 1999 as we know it. The gentleman arrangements that brought us together as a country perhaps posits that each part of the country should take turns in perhaps producing leaders so everyone would have a sense of belonging. Nigeria clearly has found itself in a fix, Mr. Speaker, as far as this issue of zoning and rotation of power is concerned, because we cannot go contrary to what the provisions of the Constitution says, which means everyone, whatever part of the country you're from, has a right to contest for any political office in the country, as long as you're up to the age of exercising that franchise. But the argument about allowing, a power rotation so everyone across the country would have a sense of belonging will equally rear its head. And when we find ourselves in that fix, it makes matters even a little bit more difficult.
The Nigerians are people are not going to be able to and I think that today are not going to be Nigerians are today are not going to those Nigerians who will sit back friends and watch things go by. Nigerians of today are the Nigerians of the NSAS protest. They are the Nigerians who are tired of the different situations that are going back in the nation. The Nigerians we have today are more deliberate and effective about the words, the actions, and of course, they know that at this point, that we have become practically local as we use the language. To represent the Nigerian Senator or Federal House member is going to, one way or the other, directly or indirectly affect them. And so, as a result of that, a lot of Nigerians would take very, very unpredictable positions at the polls. We know right now what's in the state is that we can get the menu of what we have. In as much as that is important, we saw what happened in the church state. And the next to have a couple of friends them at the respective parties. Somewhere the PDP, somewhere the PDP, somewhere the other parties in the state. But on that election day, the family gathered and they already knew who they were being the market school. They said, you know what, whichever political party we go to, the PDP money, take it. We all went out, money was given, and the end of the vote, all of those from the 4 years, high level of people that are now I'm going to do
you're doing is good or bad. It doesn't translate to either of the two. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning, the leader.
Yes, good morning to Plenary. What's your name? Where are you joining from? All right, good. Hello, go ahead. as well as getting your comments via our Facebook page on the motions we're entertaining this morning. Just stay with us. The People's Parliament will return.
From Pakistan, who were held in the U.S. military prison at Guantanamo Bay for nearly 20 years, have been released and repatriated. Abdul and Mohammed Rabbani were accused of helping al-Qaeda. 32 people are still being detained at Guantanamo. BBC News.
The world in 2 minutes.
Information and entertainment make a good collabo on Planet Radio 101.1 FM. Information and entertainment make a good collabo on Planet Radio 101.1 FM.
Dear listener, we exist because you're always there, and without you, there is no us. We appreciate your sustained loyalty and remain committed to creating content tailored to meet your everyday media needs. And on this note, starting this January, you will be noticing some changes in our programming. Planet Radio 101.1 FM Uyo, revolving around you.
Iyo ngoma bubukere nemdum iba iragamdi bu iba nemdum ita bangutong kap bangutong gup sembitang se ufotum top media group bunsinia planet FM Spectrum Television emanation finito Aramakere tang show 102.7 FM. Sinaman sa sangan tumke korodo ke ta freven bosedinam abido ki ko kangen anyam ke sebo ki ko makara all indigenous language radio station. Mena me bo Top Media Group al packet of Planet 101.1 FM. Ayori baro Spectrum Television. Ayori tarum tang show 102.7 FM. Ekene tang. Iyame bento diagado.
Amapiano and Afrobeats, they dine together. The two giants, Niger and Southeastern Show. Plenty drama, romance, cameras 247. Come see where Yawa the gas Yawa.
Make una catch all the excitement on Top Go TV Jolly, Max and Super on Channel 29. Reconnect today on my Go TV app or dial star 288 hash. Big Brother Titans now for people who don't reach or pass 18 years old. Our headline sponsors now Bamboo, Flutterwave and Lotto Star.
My people, no let new naira and cashless matter worry you. Hope Bank day your phone, 500 naira a week day. So if you want send mama money, I be to buy a Maka recharge card. To give customer money, a big customer won't give you money. Hope day your phone, 500 naira a week day. My people, your phone number, na ATM card and account number. Oh.
Yes, so enjoy better life with Hope Wallet. Dial star 569 star 9 hash on your phone. Select Open Wallet. Put your details and fiam. Your wallet does set. Hope PS Bank go summer you 500 naira a week. Terms and conditions there. Hope. Succeed. Hope Bank always.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people. But there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTimes DTH Channel 421 and on free-to-air. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon. In line with our vision to become and remain a constant choice of information dissemination and public enlightenment, as well as propagate quality broadcasting, TAF Media Group, the umbrella body of Planet Radio, Tangsio FM and Spectrum Television, is glad to announce the existence of our one-stop feedback channel where questions and concerns about our policies and programming can be channeled. In this wise, legitimate and responsible queries and complaints will be entertained via these platforms for swift responses. Call, SMS or reach us via WhatsApp on 0916-984-0307 or send us an email on tafmediagroup1@gmail.com. And Planet Radio 101.1 FM. Uyo. And just a quick reminder of the motions on the floor of the House this morning. The 2023 Presidential and National Assembly elections, a call for individual and collective responsibility, an appeal to shun vote selling. 2023 general elections, INEC assures elections will hold as planned, gets polls allocation from the CBN. And pre-election violence, military orders begin raids on Hoodlums Hideouts as federal government shut borders ahead of polls. We've been getting your reactions. Feel free to chip in more. And equally, you can go to our Facebook page, Planet Radio 101.1 FM. We'll be taking your comments in due time. You can reach out to us, of course, on 0902-2231-011 or 0817-6248-565. The elections are less than 24 hours away. How ready Nigerians for tomorrow? We, of course, go out to cast their votes, not just to elect a new president. We'll chart the course of the country forward beginning from May 29 this year, but also representatives at the National Assembly level in both upper and the lower chambers of the National Assembly. I think it's equally important, Mr. Speaker, that we remind people, as much as we know the presidential election is the icing on the cake, the National Assembly polls are equally as important. Especially now that Nigerians have seen firsthand what it takes to have a proper interface or a parliamentary or a legislative rather fracas between the executive arm of government and the legislature, especially when it comes to matters of constitutional importance, with the Naira redesign policy that has engulfed the country in the last few days, where it seems the legislature have been put, have their backs against the walls, with Mr. President having his way as far as the content of this policy is concerned. So people now know that who you vote to the National Assembly to go to represent you at the National Assembly is just as important as who heads the country or your respective state. So parliamentary elections are just as key, and it will be interesting to see who Nigerians would elect to represent them at the legislative level. But don't forget, we're getting your reactions. Feel free to join us in. We'll go to our Facebook page and also entertain some comments, and a good number of them have been trickling in, but we'll come to that in a short while. Hello, good morning to you. Good morning and welcome. Name and where you're joining us from.
Good morning, Parliamentarian. We are facing to sell their mandate. I have this good news for you. Actually, a bad news. When you sell your vote, here's what happened. Divide whatever money that you're given by the number of days that we have in the month, extend that to a quarter, extend that to a year, and then multiply it by the number of Nigerians and tell us how much that would amount to for you at the present moment. And if that is insignificant, which of course is going to be a complete insignificant amount of money, then you know that selling your vote should be the last thing that you can ever conceive of. And then you will be doing the worst disservice to Nigerians when you sell your mandate. And like the House leader said, it's about a most interesting time. And Nigerians, most Nigerians are looking forward to having different, convergence of National Assembly members, both at the Senate and the Federal House of Representatives. They're looking forward to having multiple parties having their candidates so that we can have strong legislative institution, because it seems like we've seen, even at the state level, that the legislature who should focus on ensuring that there is checks and balances, the legislature should ensure that they do due diligence, the oversight functions of the legislature both at the state and national level is not being followed. That's why we wake up in Nigeria to hear legislatures telling us as Nigerians that the ministries, departments and government agencies have been padding the budget for God knows how long, and they were never aware of it. That's how we wake up to discover that, it's a regular process, racketeering in terms of employment in the different MDAs, and nobody knew about it. That's how we get to know that government programs are one-sided, with some regions benefiting more than other regions because the oversight functions of the legislature is not being utilized. So we have a lot of members going out into the House of Representatives, into the Senate, And as not, some analysts would say, most of them go out there to sit down and sleep just to go back at the end of the month and get their payment, while others don't even show up for plenary sessions, and yet they get paid. And this is one of the things that has consistently, caused Nigeria to be where we are today. We need active parliamentarians, seasoned parliamentarians, people who have the wherewithal to formulate policies and laws that will lead to the economic advancement of Nigeria and Nigerians. We need a robust, legislative house, not one that seems to be controlled by the executive arm of government. The independence of the different arms of government is one of the things that can secure Nigeria and strengthen the different weaknesses that we have seen in our institutions. And one of the things that can ensure that is when we have multiple parties, not just the houses being dominated by one party, or all of the seats being taken by one party in the power of formation. I mean, of course, they're going to align for their personal gains, as Nigerians would say. But this is the opportunity for all of us as Nigerians. All of the candidates across the 18 political parties that has been accredited by INEC or recognized by INEC, you have the candidate. Look at the antecedents, get to vote for them. In Kwabam State here, we're talking about 3 Senates and 10 federal House of Assembly members. Look at them, look at their parties, look at the antecedents, look at how far they've come, look at their body language, look at the manifestos, the things they're saying. How much have they been able to speak to the hearts of their constituents? And through their speeches, how much have they done in the past to guarantee that if you give them the mandate to represent you, they are going to deliver on the dividends of democracy? So all of those things are very critical as we go into the polls. For Edet Senatorial District, Ikoroikpen Senatorial District, and Uyo, all of these things are still part of the discourse that we need to have. But it's about past the time for discussion. And I'd like to go straightly to that parliamentarian who alleged that politicians have been doing a lot. Well, it's crystal clear that vote buying is not going to cease as long as we keep having corrupt politicians, or some politicians who want to do everything within and outside their powers to clinch onto power. But here's the deal. We always have to remember that there is a greater power, a far more greater power in the people than we have in the powers that resides with the politicians. So the power is in your hands as the electorate. If you choose to sell that power again to whoever is coming to sell or to buy that power from you, then you do not have any rights. You do not have any moral grounds to complain about what Nigerians are facing and what Nigerians might face going forward. And particularly, it is very, very important that we don't make the mistakes we've made over time. Do not sell your vote, please.
That's right. All right, let's ship in more of your reactions. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
Yes, I am interested in
Thank you very much, parliamentarian, for your word of advice to parliamentarians. So taking some more comments on the Facebook page, parliamentarian Bishop Perfect says, good morning, Mr. Speaker. It's very commendable that INEC are fully prepared for the 2023 general elections, and we Nigerians are ready to vote in a good leader and to vote out a government. I appreciate the military for raiding the hideouts of hoodlums and electoral manipulators. I'm also appealing that voting I'm also appealing that our voting not be turned into combat zone. They should avoid carrying guns. Thank you so much, Bishop Perfect from Calabar. Thank you, Bishop Perfect. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the plenary. All right, welcome. Go ahead.
Concerning the election that is coming up in less than 24 hours, what I would like to say tonight. That may come to be favored.
Take from the phone lines, because it's about time for us to call it a wrap on the floor of the House. But let's just take this few minutes to conscientize us. And I'd like to, before I close, just play a short composition made by a young Nigerian about the 2023 general elections.